Hi guys! Welcome sa ENGINerdmath channel. Sa video na to ay magre-review tayo for Engineering Sciences Board Exam for GEAS or ESAS, which is P6 Part 2. So kung gusto nyo itong matutunan, just keep on watching. Okay, so this time ay magre-review ulit tayo for Engineering Sciences Board Exam for GEAS or ESAS, which is Physics Part 2. So meron na akong Part 1 for Engineering Sciences Board Exam Review for GEAS or ESAS for Physics. So hindi nyo pa yung napapanood, isilink ko na lang para ma-check nyo. So magsasagot tayo ng sets of questions. So sa first part ay nag-end tayo sa item number 20. So let's start with item number 21. A helical spring has a load of 520 grams and its length has an elongation of 15 cm. If the spring is set into vibration, what is the frequency? Okay, so vibration of a spring. So let's say meron daw tayong helical spring. Okay, so meron siyang original length, let's say L, tapos meron siyang mass na 520 grams. Okay? And then, nagkaroon siya ng elongation because of its weight, right? So, sabi, nagkaroon siya ng elongation na, let's say, this is the original length L. Nagkaroon siya ng elongation na 15 cm. Okay? Mass is 520 grams. So, ang tanong is, ano yung frequency nung vibration nung spring? Okay, so meron kasi tayong formula dito na frequency is equal to 1 over 2 pi square root of k over m. So, itong k, siya yung constant of proportionality natin dun sa Hooke's law na pwede nating makuha mamaya. And then, itong m yung mass nung spring. Okay? So, kuhain muna nga natin itong k. Base dito sa ating illustration. So, Hooke's law states that the force applied is directly proportional with proportionality constant k doon sa length of elongation, let's say delta L. Okay? So, yung magsisilbing force dito is yung kanyang weight. So, we have mass times gravitation due to gravity, right? So, mg. So, itong m is given 520 grams and itong g is 9.81 meter per second square. Constant yon. So, equal k delta L. Itong delta L, ito nga yung elongation natin na 15 cm. So, solve natin si k, equal siya sa mg divided by delta L. Ngayon, para consistent tayo sa unit, so yung unit natin ng k is dapat Newton per meter. So, itong mass, gawin natin kilogram. Kasi ang 1 Newton is equal to 1 kilogram meter per second square. Right? So, yung mass gawin natin kilogram. So, yung 520 grams magiging 0.520 kilogram. And then times G, 9.81 meter per second square divided by delta L. So, yung delta L natin na 15 cm, gawin din nating meter para consistent. So, magiging 0.15 meter. Okay? So, using calculator, ang makasolve natin K is 34.008 Newton per meter. Okay? Ngayon, ipa-plug in natin siya dito sa formula natin. Ito. Okay, so plug in natin. Frequency is 1 over 2 pi square root of k 34.008 divided by yung mass niya na dapat in kilogram 0.520. Okay, so using calculator, ang masasolve nating value dyan is what? So, it is equal to 1.287 Hz. So, the unit is Hz kasi frequency. So, the answer is, okay, approximately letter A, 1.29. Okay? Next, we have the wavelength of a sound wave in a certain material as measured is 52 cm. The frequency of the wave is 2,500 Hz. Compute the speed of sound wave. So, ano raw yung speed ng sound wave with wavelength na 52 cm at frequency na 2,500 Hz or 2.5 kHz. So, meron lang tayong formula dito, right? Velocity is equal to wavelength times frequency. Okay, so dahil yung mga choices natin is in meter per second, so gawin nating meter itong 52 cm. So magiging 0.52 meter. Then times frequency na 2,500 Hz. So unit natin dito is meter per second. So 0.52 times 2,500 is equal to what? 1,300. So the answer is letter B. Next, we have a horizontal cord 5 meters long has a mass of 5.2 grams. What must be the tension in the cord if the wavelength of 120 Hz wave on it is to be 25 cm? So, meron daw tayong horizontal cord na 5 meters long na merong mass na 5.2 grams. And then, ano raw yung magiging tension dito sa cord kung magkakaroon daw ng wavelength na 25 cm at a frequency of 120 Hz yung horizontal cord. So, pwede natin i-apply dito yung formula for the velocity of a transverse wave on a stretched string on cord. Kasi magkakaroon tayo ng transverse wave dito sa cord, right? So, ito yung formula natin. Okay? V is equal to square root of TL over M, where V is the velocity of wave, T is equal to the tension in the cord, M is the mass of the cord, and L is the length of the cord. Okay, so ang hinahanap sa problem is itong tension T, right? So, meron tayong makukuhang velocity kasi meron tayong given wavelength tsaka frequency. So, kuhain muna natin. So, velocity is equal to wavelength times frequency. So, yung wavelength daw is 25 cm. So, para standard tayo, in Newton yung kailangan natin sa tension, gawing nating meter tong centimeter. So, 0.25 meter times yung frequency as is lang 120 Hz. So, ilan yan? 30. So, the velocity is 30 meter per second. Ngayon, meron na tayong velocity, meron naman tayong length, right? So, the length daw is 5 meter, and then meron tayong mass na 5.2 grams. So, substitute lang natin. So, we have velocity is 30 meter per second equals square root of, so, T yung unknown, times yung length. So, naka-meter naman siya. So, 5 meter divided by yung mass na 5.2 grams. So, dahil gusto natin is Newton, para standard, gawin natin kilogram. So, magiging 0.0052 kilogram. Okay? So, pwede nyo i-shift solve or manipulate nyo to solve for T. So, using calculator, it is equal to what? 0.936 Newton. So, the answer is letter B. Okay? Next, we have a piano string with a length of 1.17 meters and a mass of 21 grams in under tension of 6.4 times 10 raised to the third Newton. What is the fundamental frequency? Okay, so meron lang tayong formula dito for the fundamental frequency of stretched string. So, ito yung formula natin for the fundamental frequency of a stretched string. So, F sub 1 is equal to 1 over 2L square root of TL over M, where F sub 1 is the fundamental frequency, T is the tension in the cord, M is equal to mass of the cord, and L is the length of the cord. So, given naman tayo lahat, right? So, meron tayong length na 1.17 meter, meron tayong tension na 6.4 times 10 raised to the third Newton, and then meron tayong mass na 21 grams. So, substitute lang natin. So, fundamental frequency is equal to 1 over 2 times length. So, dapat in meter siya, right? So, 1.17 meter square root of, yung tension natin is dapat in Newton. So, 6.4 times 10 raised to the third Newton. Then, yung length ulit na 1.17 meter divided by yung mass na 21 grams. So, dapat yung mass natin is in kilogram. So, magiging 0.021 kilogram. So, using calculator, makukuha nating sagot dito for the fundamental frequency is what? 255.2 Hertz. So, the answer is letter A. Okay? Next, we have a man fires a gun and hears an echo 2.4 seconds later. How far is the reflecting surface if air temperature is 25 degrees Celsius? Note the speed of sound at STP, standard temperature and pressure, is 332 meter per second and changes by 0.6 meter per second for every 1 degree Celsius change in temperature. So, nag-fire daw ng gun yung isang man at nakarinig siya ng echo 2.4 seconds later. So, ano raw yung distance ng reflecting surface kung yung temperature daw is 25 degrees Celsius? So, from the definition dito, sa note natin na yung speed of sound daw at STP is 332 meter per second and changes, so nag-change siya ng 0.6 meter per second for every change daw na 1 degree Celsius, so times t. So, ito yung magiging velocity nung ating sound, right? So, dahil yung given temperature natin is 25 degrees Celsius, so magiging final velocity ng ating sound is 332 plus 0.6 times kung ano yung temperature na given yung 25 degrees Celsius. So, ilan to? Using calculator, it is equal to 347 meter per second. Okay? Now, paano natin makukuha yung distance ng reflecting surface doon sa man? So, kasi sabi daw, nung nag-fire ng gun yung man, narinig niya raw yung sound 2.4 seconds later. So, halimbawa, ito yung tao. So, nag-fire siya ng gun. So, meron daw reflecting surface. So, syempre, pag nag-fire siya ng gun, so, merong magta-travel na sound, right? So, let's say, ito yon. Tapos, magre-reflect siya dun sa surface, tsaka maririnig ng tao. So, pabalik. So, magiging pabalik dun sa tao. So, saka siya maririnig ng tao. So, therefore, yung total time na tinravel nung sound from the person to the reflecting surface is kalahati lang, right? Nung total time na 2.4 seconds. So, time is 1/2 2.4 seconds. So, ilan to? 1.2 seconds. Makukuha ngayon natin tong distance na to using yung formula natin for the distance is equal to velocity times time. Considering yung mga info natin doon sa sound, right? So, yung velocity ng sound, so substitute natin 347 meter per second and then yung time niya is 1.2 second. So, using calculator, ano yung distance natin? 416.4 meter. Okay, so therefore, ito yung sagot natin. Letter C. Okay, next we have a train blowing its whistle at 520 Hz approaches a station at the rate of 35 miles per hour. What frequency is heard by a man standing at the station considering the velocity of sound in air 1,100 feet per second? Okay, so this type of question is about Doppler Effect. So, ano ba yung Doppler Effect? So, Doppler effect is the apparent rise and fall in the pitch of the sound of a sounding body as the sounding body or observer approaches and as it leaves the observer or sounding body. So, yung Doppler effect is the phenomenon kung saan nagbabago yung pitch or frequency ng sound ng isang body once yung distance niya sa another body is nagbabago. Okay, so meron tayong iba't ibang cases dito. So, meron tayong case 1. So, meron tayong moving source at stationary observer. So, yung formula natin is F prime is equal to F sub S times V over V plus minus V sub S. So, meron tayong sign convention, right? So, gagamitin daw natin yung positive if the source is moving away from the stationary observer at negative if source is moving towards the stationary observer. Okay, then sa case 2, kapag meron naman tayong stationary source tapos moving observer. So, yung formula natin is F prime is equal to F sub S times V plus minus V sub O over V. So, meron din tayong sign convention. So, use positive if observer is moving towards from the stationary source and minus if observer is moving away the stationary source. Okay, then yung last, yung case 3, kung parehong nagmo-move yung source at observer. So, moving source and moving observer. So, meron tayong dalawang formula. So, F prime is equal to F sub S times V plus V sub O over V minus V sub S. So, kung nag-a-approach sila sa isa't isa. And then, F prime is equal to F sub S times V minus V sub O over V plus V sub S kung lumalayo sila sa isa't isa. So, lahat ng variables dito is, ito yung definition natin na yung F prime, siya yung apparent frequency, yung F sub S is yung frequency ng source, V is the velocity of sound, V sub S is the velocity of the source, and V sub O is the velocity of the observer. Okay, so, base dito sa ating problem, ano yung gagamitin nating case dito? Kasi meron daw tayong source na nagbo-blow ng whistle with a frequency na 520 Hz. Tapos nag-a-approach siya sa isang station at the rate of 35 miles per hour. So, ibig sabihin, meron tayong moving source toward a stationary observer. Right? So, ano raw yung frequency heard by the man standing at the station considering the velocity of sound in air? 1,100 feet per second. Okay, so ito yung gagamitin nating formula, yung case 1. Pero anong sign, plus or minus? So, dahil nga moving towards the stationary observer yung source natin, minus. Okay? So, copy natin to, yung formula na to. So, hanapin natin itong F prime, yung apparent frequency. So, F prime is equal to yung frequency ng source is 520 Hz, right? So, 520 times V. Velocity nung sound daw is 1,100 feet per second. So, substitute natin 1,100. Then, V ulit. So, 1,100. Then, dahil nga moving towards yung source observer, gamitin natin yung minus. Then, yung Vs natin. So, ito yung velocity ng ating source, right? 35 miles per hour. So, para consistent tayo sa unit, so 35 miles per hour. So, di ba yung given nating unit sa velocity ng sound is feet per second. So, gawin din natin tong feet per second. So, meron tayong conversion doon, right? 1 miles per hour is equal to 1.467 feet per second. So, multiply lang natin to sa 1.467 para makuha na natin yung velocity ng source in feet per second. So, ilan yan? So, 51.345 feet per second. So, ito yung substitute natin dito sa V sub S, 51.345. So, using calculator, ang makukuha nating sagot dito is so, F prime is 545.46 Hz. Okay, so the answer is letter A. Okay. Next, we have a glass plate is 0.6 cm thick and has a refractive index of 1.55. Compute how long will it take for a pulse of light to pass through the plate. Okay, so meron daw tayong, let's say, glass. Tapos, meron siyang thickness daw na, let's say, 0.6 cm. Tapos daw, yung refractive index nitong glass is 1.55. So, yung refractive index, let's say, N. Tapos, meron daw pulse of light na magpapass through ito sa glass. So, magpapass through siya dito. How long will it take daw for this pulse of light to pass through the plate? So, hanapin daw natin yung time para makapass through yung light dito sa glass. So, dahil given tayo ng refractive index, pwede natin gamitin yung formula na N is equal to C over V, where N is the index of refraction, C is the speed of light in vacuum, equal siya sa 3 times 10 raised to the 8 meter per second, and V is the speed of light in medium. So, itong V yung gusto nating makuha para makuha natin yung time na ita-travel ng light para makapasok siya dito sa glass. Kasi yung medium natin is glass, right? So, using the formula, time is equal to distance divided by velocity. So, itong D, ito yung magsisilbing thickness ng ating glass. And then, itong V, yung velocity ng light this time kapag nag-pass through siya dito sa medium natin na glass. So, makukuha natin yung V dito sa formula natin na N equals C over V. So, V is equal to what? C over N. So, pag sinubstitute natin ngayon dito, so, T is equal to D over V, C over N. So, given naman na lahat, so, substitute na lang natin. So, D is 0.6 cm. So, para consistent tayo sa unit, kasi yung unit natin sa speed is meter per second, right? Convert natin itong 0.6 cm sa meter. So, magiging 0.006 sa meter na siya. Divided by C. So, constant yung C natin na 3 times 10 raised to the 8 meter per second over yung n na 1.55. So, using calculator, ang masasolve natin value dito ng t is what? So, 3.11 times 10 raised to negative 11 seconds. Okay, so the answer is letter B. Okay? Next, we have, what is the angle of refraction of light as a beam of parallel light enters a block of ice at angle of incidence of 30 degree. Note, the index of refraction of ice is 1.31 and air is 1.0. Okay, so pwede natin gamitin dito yung Snell's law. So, ito yung formula natin for Snell's law. So, n sub 1 sin theta I is equal to n sub 2 sin theta 2, where n sub 1 is the refractive index of medium 1, n sub 2 is the refractive index of medium 2, theta I is equal to the angle of incidence, and theta R is equal to the angle of refraction. So, kapag meron tayong ray of light na magpapass through sa, let's say, dalawang medium, so ito yung illustration natin. So, let's say, meron tayong medium 1, initially passing yung ray of light, tapos meron tayong normal dito. So, magkakaroon siya ng angle with respect to normal na theta I. So, yung tinatawag natin na angle of incidence. So, kapag nagpass na siya dito sa medium 2, dito sa color blue na, so, magkakaroon siya ng angle of refraction, which is itong theta R with respect pa rin dito sa normal. So, by Snell's law, yung relationship nitong index of refraction ng medium 1 at medium 2 doon sa angle of incidence saka angle of refraction is ito, n1 sin theta I equals n2 sin theta 2. So, gamitin natin itong formula na to. So, pwede natin yung consider dito sa problem is dalawang medium. Yung given na index of refraction is sa I, saka yung sa air. So, yung medium 1, let's say N1 is air. So, yung value ng index of refraction natin dyan is 1.0. And then, yung medium 2 is ito ng index of refraction ng ice. So, may value siya na 1.31. So, given yung angle of incidence, so sa medium 1 yon 30 degrees. So, theta I is 30 degree. So, solve daw natin yung angle of refraction, theta 2. Okay, so substitute natin. So, N1 is 1.0 times sin theta I, so 30 degree equals N sub 2, 1.31 times sin theta R. Right? So, it is theta R. Okay? So, solving for sin theta R first, it is equal to 1.0 times sin 30 degree divided by 1.31. And then, getting the inverse sign of that value, so we have theta R is equal to arc sine of, so parang 1 times sin 30 na lang to, diba? Divided by 1.31. So, using calculator, ang masasolve nating value ng theta R is what? So, approximately 22.44 degree. So, the answer is, so, wala sa choices yung exact answer, pero the closest is 20 degree. Pero yung exact answer is 22.44 degree. Okay? Next, we have, a light source emits a total luminous flux of 5,000 lumens and distributed uniformly over 75% of a sphere. What is the luminous intensity at 2.5 meter distance? Okay, so, luminous intensity. So, meron tayong formula dito for the luminous intensity. Okay, so, I is equal to F over omega, where I is the luminous flux intensity measured in candela or CD, F is the luminous flux measured in lumens, omega is the solid angle measured in steradians or SR, and omega has the formula A over R squared. So, dito sa formula natin ng omega, yung A is kino-consider natin as a sphere. Surface area ng sphere. Kasi yun yung given. Tapos, yung R is the radius of the sphere. So, kunin natin ngayon yung I. So, meron tayong given na luminous flux, right? Itong 5,000 lumens. So, I is equal to 5,000 lumens divided by omega. Okay? So, yung omega natin is ito yung formula. So, meron tayong formula for the surface area ng sphere as what? 4 pi r squared. Kaso, itong area nito is whole sphere. Pero sabi, yung light source daw is dinistribute lang uniformly over 75% lang ng sphere. So therefore, itong kabuuang area na to is mumultiply pa natin sa 0.75 lang. Right? Ngayon, over r square. So, meron tayong distance dito na 2.5 meter distance. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung radius natin. So, pwede nyo i-substitute dito sa r is 2.5 square. Kaso, makakancel lang din sila, right? So, parang matitira is I is equal to 5,000 divided by 4 pi times 0.75. Okay, so magiging unit na ngayon dito is candela or CD. So, using calculator, anong value nito? 5,000 divided by 4 pi times 0.75. So, approximately 531 candela. So, the answer is letter A. Okay? Next, we have a light bulb emits a total luminous flux of 1,700 lumens distributed uniformly over a hemisphere. What is the illuminance at a distance of 2 meters? Okay, so this time, ang tanong naman is illuminance. So, meron naman tayong formula for illuminance as, okay, so we have E is equal to F over A, where E is the illuminance measured in lumens per meter square, F is the luminous flux measured in lumens, and A is area measured in meter square. So, meron tayong given dito na luminous flux, which is 1,700 lumens, over area. So, ano yung area natin? So, meron tayong hemisphere, right? So, ibig sabihin, kalahati lang nung sphere or 50% nung sphere. So, alam natin na yung surface area nung sphere is 4 pi r squared. Pero dahil hemisphere nga lang siya, times 0.5 kalahati. Ngayon, yung tanong is illuminance at 2 meters. So, yung r natin bale is itong 2 meters. So, substitute ngayon natin dito sa r. So, 4 pi times r is 2 meters. So, 2 meter square. Okay, so using calculator, ang masasolve yung value dito is parang 1,700 divided by 4 pi 2 square times 0.5. The unit is lumen per meter square. So, using calculator, anong value nito? So, E is 67.64 lumen per meter square. So, the answer is letter A. Okay. Next, let's have some objective types of questions. 31. According to this law, the force between two charges varies directly as the magnitude of each charge and inversely as the square of the distance between them. A. Law of universal gravitation. B. Newton's law. C. Inverse square law. D. Coulomb's law. So, the correct answer is letter D. Coulomb's law. 32. When the pitch of a note is raised, then its A. Frequency decreases. B. Wavelength is increased. C. Frequency increases. D. None of the above. The correct answer is letter C. Frequency decreases. 33. Which of the following processes of heat requires the presence of a fluid? A. Conduction. B. Convection. C. Radiation. D. None of the above. The correct answer is letter B. Convection. 34. Which of the following is not true about sound waves? A. They transmit the energy. B. They are propagated as a series of compressions and rarefactions. C. They travel faster in air than in solids. D. They produce interference. The correct answer is letter C. They travel faster in air than in solids. 35. The phenomenon of damping results is decrease in A. Frequency. B. Velocity. C. Wavelength. D. Amplitude. The correct answer is letter D. Amplitude. 36. Which one can travel in vacuum? A. Radio waves. B. Light wave. C. Sound wave. D. Short wave. The correct answer is letter C. Sound wave. 37. In the well-known equation, released energy equals mc squared. What is C? A. Capacitance. B. Velocity of light. C. Planck's constant. D. Relativity constant. The correct answer is letter B. Velocity of light. 38. It is the annoying brightness of light sources in person's normal field of vision. A. Contrast. B. Diffuseness. C. Reflected glare. D. Direct glare. The correct answer is letter D. Direct glare. 39. It refers to the magnitude of the auditory sensation produced by the sound. A. Loudness. B. Intensity. C. Pitch. D. Tone. The correct answer is A. Loudness. 40. Piezoelectricity principle is applied in one of the following. Which one? A. Ultrasound equipment. B. Thermometer. C. Microphone. D. TV sets. The correct answer is letter C. Microphone. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. Engineering Sciences Board Exam Review for GEAS or ESAS, which is P6 Part 2. So, abangan nyo na lang yung next upload ko for Engineering Sciences Board Exam Review for GEAS or ESAS. So, sana ay may natutunan kayo sa video na to at maraming salamat sa panunod.